Agile, Waterfall, or maybe something in between. You know, picking the right way to run a project can feel, well, overwhelming. In this explainer, we're going to use the PMBOK guide to break it all down and give you a clear way to pick the perfect fit for your project. Let's dive in.
Just think about this for a second. Building a massive physical bridge versus creating a brand new mobile app where user feedback could change everything overnight. Should they really follow the exact same playbook? Of course not, right? And that simple, common sense idea is really at the heart of all modern project management.
And that leads us straight to our first big idea, tailoring. The whole notion of a one-size-fits-all project plan, it's a total myth. The real power, the real secret to success is in adapting your approach to fit what your project actually needs.
Now, this is a core principle from the PMBOK guide, and it is absolutely crucial. See, project success isn't about blindly following a script. It's about being smart, being flexible, and responding to the unique reality of your situation. And getting this wrong? It's not just a little inefficient, it's a recipe for disaster. We're talking blown budgets and totally missed deadlines.
But here's the thing. Tailoring isn't about just making things up as you go. It's not chaos. As the guide defines it, it's a really disciplined process. It's about using just enough process to get the most value, keep costs in check, and move faster. It's all about being lean and effective, not rigid or random.
Okay, so if we're going to be tailoring our approach, what are we tailoring from? Well, let's take a look at the toolkit. And it's best to think of these different methods not as competitors, but as different tools for different jobs, all existing on a spectrum.
On one end of that spectrum, you've got the predictive approach. A lot of people know this as Waterfall. The perfect analogy? Building a house. You absolutely need a detailed, fixed blueprint before anyone even thinks about digging. You have to define everything, the scope, the schedule, the cost, right at the start. Because trying to move a wall once the foundation is poured is, well, you get the idea. It's incredibly expensive. Now, on the complete other end, we have the adaptive approach, which you'll often hear called Agile. This is more like a master chef creating a brand new dish. They have a vision, sure, but they taste, they test, they tweak, and they adjust along the way. It is perfect for those projects where you know things are going to change, and you need that constant feedback to discover the best possible outcome.
And sitting right there in the middle, you have the hybrid approach. Now, this isn't just some weak compromise, it's a super strategic blend. It lets you use the stability and predictability of Waterfall for the parts of your project that are crystal clear, while using the flexibility of Agile for the parts that are still uncertain. You literally get the best of both worlds.
This visual here really brings that whole idea to life. It's not a black and white choice, A or B. It is a full spectrum. Your project might be almost entirely predictive, or highly adaptive, or anywhere in between. The real trick is finding your project's sweet spot, right on this line.
Let's just quickly put the two ends of the spectrum side by side. With predictive, your requirements are defined and stable right up front. In adaptive, you fully expect them to change and evolve. Planning? In predictive, it's super detailed and happens early. In adaptive, it's more high level and it's happening constantly. But the biggest difference might be delivery. Predictive gives you one big drop at the very end. Adaptive, you get frequent, small deliveries of value along the way. And that even changes how you work with stakeholders, from formal scheduled reviews to basically constant collaboration.
Okay, so the big question is, how do you actually figure out where your project should be on this spectrum? Well, thankfully, the PMBOK guide gives us a pretty simple 3-point checklist to help us make that call.
It all boils down to analyzing 3 key areas. First, the product or service you're actually building. Second, the specifics of the project itself. And third, the culture and structure of your organization. Let's dig into each one.
First up, the product. How innovative is it? I mean, if you're inventing something totally new, there's no way you can know all the answers up front. That pretty much screams for an adaptive approach. How certain are your requirements? If they're rock solid and stable, predictive is a fantastic fit. And think about how easy it is to make a change. Changing code is one thing. Changing the foundation of a skyscraper? Not so much. That's going to push you towards predictive every time.
Next, let's think about the project itself. Adaptive methods need stakeholders who are ready to be involved all the time. If your stakeholders prefer formal updates every now and then, a predictive model might work better. What about speed? If you need to get something valuable to market fast, or if your funding is tied to hitting certain milestones, an adaptive approach that delivers in small chunks is an absolute game changer.
And finally, you cannot forget your own organization's DNA. A traditional, top-down, hierarchical company
often fits better with the command and control style of a predictive plan, but a culture that empowers small, self-managing teams, that's the perfect environment for adaptive methods to thrive. Even things like team size matter. Small teams sitting together do great with high communication adaptive models, while huge, globally distributed teams might need the extra structure of a hybrid or predictive plan to keep everyone in sync.
Okay, so that's enough theory. What does all this stuff actually look like in the real world? Let's check out some examples of how these different approaches actually play out.
So here you go. On the left, a classic predictive plan, a Gantt chart. Every single task is mapped out in sequence from the very beginning. It's rigid. On the right, you see an adaptive plan. There's a vision, for sure, but the nitty-gritty details are only filled in for the next short cycle. It is built to change, built to evolve based on feedback. The difference is really night and day.
And this quote from the PM Book Guide just nails the hybrid approach. For the physical construction of a new data center, the concrete, the steel, you use a predictive blueprint-driven plan. It makes perfect sense. But for figuring out the complex, ever-changing computing needs inside that building, you use an iterative, adaptive approach. It's about using the right tool for the right part of the job, even within the same project. All of this leads to a really powerful conclusion. This is about you taking ownership. It's about understanding that you have the tools and the framework to design an approach that is perfect for your project, your rules.
The official process for this is basically a 4-step cycle. First, you select an initial approach. Then you tailor it to fit your organization's general rules. Then you tailor it again for your specific project's needs. But honestly, the most important step is the last one. Continuously inspect and adapt. This isn't a choice you make once on day one and then forget about. It's a living, breathing process.
So if you remember just one thing from our time together, let it be this. Stop searching for the single best methodology. It doesn't exist. The best methodology is the one that you intelligently build and tailor to fit the unique realities of your product, your project, and your team. That right there is the real key to success.
So, I'll just leave you with this question. Take a hard look at the project you're on right now. Are you truly using the right approach for it? Or is it time to start tailoring?